Okay, I am live. I have 30 minutes before I have Esther prep. And yeah, I didn't know what to do with myself for those 30 minutes, so I decided to come and go live. I need to charge this light here up. But I decided to come and go live before we go into Esther prep. I'm really excited. Hey, hey, hey. I'm really excited. So I got actually less than 30 minutes because I'm not going to be late going on to Esther prep. But I decided to come out and talk to you guys for like 20, 25 minutes real quick. Hey, hey. Yeah, I got to charge my light up. Just realized that I haven't charged it up in a minute, and so it's not working. But I wanted to talk to you guys for about 20 minutes about, just a real quick question. What are you doing to heal? I think for me, a lot of times I hear people talking about or bragging about their trauma, and they're not doing anything to heal. And yeah, see you soon. I can't wait. We got my dear sister in Christ, who's a therapist, Pastor Shanithia, who's going to be coming on to Esther Prep tonight. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm kind of antsy. I got a little bit of time, so I'm like, let me just come live before, because tonight, listen, Esther Preppers, I love y'all. I ain't talking to y'all tonight. I'm gonna be on, but I ain't saying nothing. I'm going to let Pastor Shan have the floor. So I'm super excited about that. If you're not in Esther Prep, what you don't know is what we're doing is first we're dealing with our mental health before we deal with anything else. We're making sure we deal with our mental health because I don't want to start building on top of dysfunction. I don't want to build on top of brokenness. I want to make sure that we get the healing, the counseling, and everything that we need. So Pastor Shan, she is a member of the same church I go to, which is Embassy Church. And yeah, she's an amazing woman of God. So I'm excited about that. But it leads me to this thing where I just, a lot of times when I'm talking to people, I found that a lot of times we kind of just brag about our dysfunction. We'll be like, girl, I'll cuss somebody out in a minute. And I just be sitting there like, yeah, okay, but what are you doing about that? That's an issue of the heart. What are you doing about that? If you're not doing anything about it, then what you're saying is that you're broken and you're proud to be broken and you're just going to stay that way. And people literally sit around and say, this is how I am. And then they leave it there. And then they be sitting up there talking about some, God, I just want you to bless me with a house, bless me with a family of my own, bless me with a husband. But the whole time you're telling people that you cuss folks out easily. You're telling people that you're the type of person that you will choke somebody. Girl, I will choke slam that girl. I'm trying to tell you, I will sew her wig to her head and then drag her by her wig up the street. You brag on the fact that you have no self-control. You're bragging on the fact that you have no self-control. And what you should be doing is whenever you see those issues rising up in your life, that should be an issue. You say, yeah, this isn't good. Let me fix this. That's what I typically do. Anytime I see an issue manifesting itself, I'm like, yeah, that's not good. Let me fix it. And let me tell you this, the reason I do that is because, and I want you to hear me when I say this, the reason I do that is because I understand that that issue is holding me back from something. I understand that there's some yay and amens out there. There are some things out there. Hold up right quick. But give me a second. But anyhow, um, again, sometimes people will point out, hey, sometimes people will point out their dysfunctions and brag on them, but then they be turning around, they be like, well, God, I want you to bless me with this and bless me with that and bless me with this. And it's like, why are you bragging on that? Why don't you just get help with that? Why don't you just sit back and say, hey, listen, I want God. And okay, let me say this real quick because many of you are waiting for a husband. I don't understand the Christian woman who wants a husband, but she doesn't have a standard for her husband. That's the Christian woman I don't understand. Is the Christian woman who wants a husband, but she doesn't have a standard. Meaning, or she has an unrealistic expectation. So how is this? How is it that you can brag about being prideful, having no self-control, and being unforgiving, but you want God to send you a mighty man of God who casts out demons? A man who got his money together, who got his life together. A man whose head is twisted on straight so he don't look at other women. You want that, but you don't want to become the very thing that you're praying for. I'll give you a little bit of a secret. Whatever it is that you're asking God for, become it. Whatever it is, if you want a faithful man of God, become a faithful woman of God. And when I say a faithful woman of God, I'm not just talking about cheating. The word faithful comes from the word faith. That means having faith. And so if I'm faithful, I have to first start being faithful to God. I cannot be faithful to a man and then I'm not faithful to God. It doesn't work that way. But many people are like that. They'll sit back and they be like, God, I was your faithful woman to my husband, the last dude I dated him for like 4 years. And God, I ain't never cheated on him. But God, like, yeah, but the whole time you were cheating on me, you were sleeping with the guy. The whole time you over here, you live in a contrary lifestyle. You weren't faithful to me. You were faithful to him. So you placed all your faith in him, which means that he is what? An idol. That dude, you made him an idol. Now you want me to sing you another idol to put before me? For real? And ever since that relationship, you have not read one book or did anything so that you can heal or grow. So you're literally still in the same mindset, which is why that dude still has access to you, which is why that dude can call your number up at any time, because you have not changed your zip code up here. But you telling me to send a husband into that dysfunction? You telling me to send a man of God into that dysfunction? And God is like, no, go out here and heal. Go change your mind. Go out here. If you sit back, you listen, your prayer, your prayer life, you can't just be praying for stuff and then expecting to just sit around the house and do nothing. Go to work, come home and yell at the kids. And yeah, I'm just waiting on God, girl. I've been asking it now for this many months or this many years. Yeah, that's all good. But what are you doing to grow into a wife? I'm asking a question for real. What are you doing to grow into a wife? What are you doing? Watching YouTube videos, that's great. But are you applying what you're learning? Who are you serving? Who? And I don't want the religious answer. I serve God. I'm talking about God placed us among the earth to serve each other as well. We submit to one another. Who are you serving? Who are you submitted to? I'm trying to help you to get your breakthrough. I'm literally right here trying to help you to get your breakthrough so you won't be that type of Christian who is sitting around year after year waiting on God to do something, and while God is waiting on you to become what he designed you to be. That's kind of like you sitting on one couch like this and God sitting on the other couch like this. And you just waiting on God to make a move. It's been 3 months. It's been 9 months. It's been 5 years. No, I literally, when I'm talking to God, y'all make sure you're liking this and sharing it. I know I'm not going to be on here long, but believe it or not, the information that I'm going to give is going to be relevant. So please don't be stingy. Make sure you're liking this. Make sure you're sharing this because it's going to help some people. But what are you doing? What are you doing to affect or cause a change in your life? What? I need you to answer in the comments. What are you doing? What? Because I'm trying to give you a realistic view of God. I don't want you to do like the generations before you. They were religious. Many of them died in the wilderness, meaning they never got to their promised land. They never, hear me, they never got to it. They spent all of their time waiting on God to do something. But they didn't do nothing about it. They didn't do nothing to break them generational curses. They didn't do nothing to break that pride issue in their life. They didn't do nothing to break the trauma or get free from the trauma. They didn't get no type of therapy. They didn't do nothing. They just kept going to the family get-togethers. Thank you, Sister Divine. God bless you. They just kept going to the family get-togethers. We're going to be meeting up over Lil Dare house tomorrow. He's going to be doing a fish fry. Okay, Lil Dare, he's supposed to start at 3, but ain't nobody going to get there until 6. You're in repeat. That's what it looks like to be in the wilderness. You're on repeat. I'm giving you something, but I just wish you could hear me. You're on repeat, sister. And if you're not doing anything, the only thing you're doing is going in circles. Going in circles. You're being recycled. You're just going in these circles. That circle, that cycle has to be broken. How do you break the cycle? You're going to have to do something different. You know what they say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Sis, you got to do something different. Otherwise, you're going to attract the same demon in a different man. You're going to attract the same demon in a different man. If you want to see something happen miraculous in your life, if you want to break the generational curse of divorce, if you want to break the generational curse of being a single mother, if you want to break the generational curse, you're going to have to get new information. You're going to have to apply that information. You're going to have to go through whatever warfare you're going to have to go through. You're going to have to sustain yourself through it. Every time you fall, you're going to have to get back up again. You're going to have to repent. You're going to have to grow. You're going to have to sit there and deal with the falling away, the judgment, all of this stuff. You got to be willing to fight and persevere. Otherwise, you might as well just settle. That's awesome. For those of you saying you're serving in a church, that's awesome. I didn't read everybody, so please don't think I'm ignoring y'all or saying y'all ain't doing good, because I just saw 2 of them. But what are you doing? You gotta make a faith without works is dead. You gotta make a different choice. And hear me when I say this. I told y'all the recovery effort of the enemy is no joke. When you try to get away from him, he gonna fight you. I learned that because I was one of the ones that he had deep in his grip. He had me deep in his paws. He had me deep in his grip. And when I started trying to get out, he was tightening his grip. And I'm sitting there trying to squirm loose, and he tightening his grip. And I dealt with temptation, and I fell into temptation. Then I dealt with this, and I just kept falling. I had to humble myself to crawl out of his hand. And when I tell you, even then, he was clawing at me. I often think about this. If you can see people in the realm of the spirit, what it looks like to break them, I'm going to give you a realistic view, not the fantasy view. Like this, I need you guys to make sure you're liking and sharing. Make sure you're liking and sharing. If God could give you a view of myself and many other people who crawled out of the hands of the enemy in the fight we went through, if he could show you what we look like spiritually, if he can show you, now spiritually we recover. Spiritually, it's like the spirit just, heals us, what have you. But if he didn't heal our spirit, if he can show you what we look like in the spirit without the healing, what you would see would be a person ripped to pieces. What you would see would be a person whose flesh is ripped off of them. We will look like battered lions. I'm giving you a realistic view because I don't want you to romanticize the whole concept of deliverance. I don't want you to be passive in your deliverance. I don't want you to think that deliverance looks like this. I'm so tired. I kill myself. That's not what deliverance looks like. Deliverance looks like this. I will fight to my last breath to get free from this spirit and that generational curse. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to study. I'm going to get mentors. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get free. And no matter what I go through, I am not quitting. I'm not going to give up. Because you want to know the realistic view? You know how many Christians I've walked alongside and I've watched them fall away from God? You know how many women I've seen go into witchcraft? Because God wouldn't give them what they wanted. I'm talking about people who were ordained. People that I knew, and they sit up there, yeah, I got ordained in my church. And I'm like, okay, good girl. And the next thing you know, they're in the middle of this war and they fall away. And I'm looking like, sis, what are you up to now? Love and light. The heck you talking about light? Love and light. You into New Age now? They start getting into some deep, dark stuff because what happens with our souls, or the way that we're wired, is we're always looking for answers. We're always looking for answers. And God wants you to find those answers in his word. He said, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. He wants you to find the answers in him. But baby, when the enemy get through wearing you out, I'm telling you, you will find yourself looking for answers in other places. Trying to make sure my blinds closed. You'll find yourself looking for love or answers in other places. It's the same thing if a woman is in a marriage and she starts feeling like she's not getting anything or everything that she wants, or if a man is in a marriage and they don't feel like, some people do start looking outside of their marriage. People do that with God all the time. They start looking outside of God. They start looking into other doctrines. They start looking because there's this hunger for answers. While the answers are in the word, you can read the answer but not understand the answer because you know what? At this stage, you're not walking in God, your heart's turned away from him, or he wants to bring somebody into your life to help you to understand it, but you're trying to do it on your own because of pride, because of fear, because of trauma, because of unforgiveness, or because of some type of ism that you're dealing with, whether it is racism, colorism, classism. There's many different aspects of division. You said I need my gavel. I got it. I got it. I got to give me a judge's robe now. I got to order one. I looked at one on YouTube. Not YouTube, on Amazon. I'm going to go live one of these days. I'm going to have a judge's robe on. So y'all just get ready to laugh. But what are you doing to affect a change in your life? You have to be active. You cannot be the type of person that's sitting around saying, I go to church on Sunday and I read my Bible. That's all good and dandy. But what are you doing? What are you doing different than your grandparents did? What are you doing different? You're going to have to actually put it to work. Faith without works is dead. You have to actually take the word and put it to work. You need counselors. You need to make sure that you are accountable. There is a way that seems right unto a man, but the end thereof is death. You got to talk to people, communicate with people and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Because, for me, I'm just like anybody else. I can have something that I'd be like, you know what? I think this is a good idea. I think I'm going to do this. I'll say this. I've learned, like for me, whatever, hurt, disappointed, frustrated, or what have you, I typically deal with fantasies about moving to Europe. I want to get away from everybody. That's how I respond. Now, it's important for you to understand how you respond. So when I started thinking, like, I just really want to move to Europe, my first thought behind that is, okay, I need to kind of look into this. Like, okay, what am I frustrated about? And it's always on the surface. I can say, this happened, that happened, that happened. I'm just over people. I really just don't feel like dealing with people right now. And I just want to go off. I just want to be in Europe, and I just want to be on a hill with a house on a hill with just rolling hills around me and no human beings. When I see that, I know it's time for me to pull away. I know it's time for me to pray. I know it's time for me to even seek wise counsel. I know it's time for me to take some time out for my mental health. When I see that. So when you see things or you see yourself manifesting a certain type of way, when you see that you've been hurt, you need to pull yourself away from the computer. You need to pull yourself out and you need to do something. If you are tired of having the same results, you're going to have to do something different. Like I said, guys, I got 14 minutes before Esther Prep University. My dear sister in Christ is going to be on teaching tonight. So yeah, I'm just coming out to talk to y'all and just to, kind of burn the time, but just to let you know, you are going to have to do something different. I got the ladies in Esther Prep. What they're doing right now is we're dealing with emotional and mental health. Because like I said, I don't want to build on top of the dysfunction. I don't want to build on top of somebody's brokenness. I don't want to be like, sis, girl, yeah, start that business. Sis, do this too. And then underneath all of that, there's a traumatized little girl. Underneath all that, because then the foundation is messed up and that stuff will come crumbling down. So we're dealing with mental health. That's what I'm going to do is spend maybe the first quarter dealing with mental health. After that, we'll begin to start building. And for those of you who asked about getting into Esther Prep, I got 5 seats that came open. So I can let 5 more people into Esther Prep. So 5 seats that came open. Other than that, yeah. And I've had many of you to ask me about the seats. Why y'all like to wait till the last minute? That's an issue. Can I be honest with you? That's an issue. There's a thing. I learned this in business. There's a thing where there are some people who will not register or they will not do anything on time. They just can't. They have to. They have to. Where did the 5 seats come from? We've had probably five more, maybe more than five people to register, but they're not active. They're not active. And so I'm letting people come in. Now, it's not going to replace them. They can still stay in the program because they paid for it, but they're not active. But definitely you'll be blessed. We have been blessed majorly. Thank you, Sister Nappy Happy. But make sure that you're getting in 5 seats. 5 seats. Don't sit there and procrastinate, then turn around and ask me again, hey, when can I get into Esther Prep? I thought I had closed off. Then I had somebody come register yesterday. I was like, oh, well, it is what it is. So we do have 5 seats that have come open. And just a real quick answer to the question that people will ask, because I'm coming in, if we already had a month, do I get a discount? No, because you're going to get that amount of teaching. So you'll just be catching up. So it'd be unfair for you to come in and get all the information and then get a discount just because you waited. So anyhow, I'm going to get ready to close behind this. I'm going to give you guys this real quick because, like I said, we got Esther Prep, and we got my sister who's a therapist who's going to be coming on, and she's going to be talking to the women about their mental and emotional health, what have you. I don't know what she's going to be dealing with tonight, but I know it's going to be good. But I wanted to just come out and say to you guys, listen, do something. Don't brag on your dysfunction, because that's prevalent. That's something that you will see. I don't even want to just say in the African American community, but you see that. No refunds. No. I am not letting people in where they can get access to the classroom, watch the teachings, and then turn around and say, well, I ain't committing. Nope. They can give the seat away to somebody else, but no refunds. No refunds. But I want you guys to make it a point to do something about the dysfunction. Don't sit there and say, girl, I'm the type of person, when somebody make me mad, I cut everybody off. I used to say that all the time. I monitor what I say now. Because for me, like I said, a lot of times I go to thinking, whenever I'm feeling offended, whenever I'm feeling hurt, whenever I'm feeling some type of way, I start thinking, I really just don't want to deal with people. Honestly, I start thinking like that. I start thinking like, I just want to move to Europe. I just want to have me a house on a hill, and that's it. I want a nice big mansion on a hill, and I want to be in my house writing books and doing all the stuff that makes me happy. And that's that. But when I see that, I know that it's time for me to do something rather than just sit there in my frustration. You may be asking God, hey, I want my husband, I want, or you want a financial breakthrough. Let's talk about that real quick. You may say, God, I want financial breakthrough, but God is waiting on you maturing. You got to heal. God is waiting till you get to a certain height so he can give you that yes and amen. The promises of God are yes, yea, and amen. And so he's just waiting till you get to a certain height so that he can give it to you. Don't be that person, because like I said, you see this is prevalent right now where people actually brag about their dysfunction. People with children, of course, most definitely. We got single women with children in there right now. We got married women in there right now. We got young women. We have older women. We got all different, and that's what makes it beautiful. We have a big, huge community, and I think the greatest thing about it is the community. Is the women loving on each other. We have a system. It's amazing. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just excited about it because of what God is doing in there. For me, I'm just like. Yeah, so the link is Nappy Happy posted the link, and you can see the packages there. You can see the packages there. But I want you to make sure that you're doing something about your issues, guys. Don't just sit back and say, I'm the type person, girl, if somebody make me mad, I just shut down. Get therapy behind that. Don't just talk about that. Get therapy behind that. If somebody sits back and says, if you say, I'm the type person, girl, if somebody offend me and I start crying, because I used to say that all the time, if I start crying, run. Because I'm not easy to cry. Yeah, I'm not the type of person that cry easy. But at the same time, I had to realize that, that's not healthy. That's not healthy. Don't brag about being broken. It's nothing cute. It's nothing to brag about. Don't brag about being broken. Don't brag about being dysfunctional. Don't brag about that. Break the generational curse. Please be the person in your family to break that curse so that your children don't have to live through that. You know, it's sad that so many kids got to live through their parents' dysfunction. I was sitting there thinking about that today. Like, so many kids got to grow up and deal with their parents' dysfunction because the mama, for example, was distracted by men. She spent all of her time just chasing men. She spent all of her time kids getting broken in the background, but she don't care. She spent all of her time trying to secure a man. Then when she secure a man, she's sitting there just letting the man break her children and do whatever he got to do because she feels like, you know what, they'll be all right. They'll be all right. And then she turn around and get surprised or act surprised when the children get older and they start calling her out. Y'all hear me when I say this. We're in a social media age. What you doing to your children right now, they're going to call you out at some point. See, they're not like my generation where we had to sit there and deal with it. And even now, I can come out and talk about stuff that I went through with my family. Your kids going to call you out on it. They're going to call you out at some point. They're going to talk about how you was out there always in a man face and never want to spend time with them. But every time you look around, you decorating yourself like a Christmas tree trying to get a man. They're going to talk about that. How you were never there and how you were always negative and condescending toward them, always yelling at them, never loving on them, never hugging them. They're going to talk about it at some point. Hear me when I say that. Imagine it. Your daughter, your son will sit in front of a camera and talk to the world about how you were toward them. Get some healing, guys. Get healing. Get healing. Get healing. I got to get off of here because I got to get ready for Esther prep. My sister's coming on tonight. But I love y'all. Yeah, my alarm is going off right now to remind me. That sound in the morning is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. You know, when you have an alarm, I'm not used to having alarms, and I've been having more alarms lately than normal, and I hate it. I gotta go. Esther Prep is calling me at 9 p.m. So I love me some you. I will come back out and talk to you guys soon. Maybe it'll be Sunday. When I come back out, we'll see how that works. I love y'all, and we'll talk soon. All right, bye. Thank you.